to Boeing whistleblowers who died. And, it's like people quite literally, whether it's suicide or a condition because of the stress, like it's almost like lawyers need to be, and these prosecutors and these people who are doing this need to understand that they quite literally are killing people and causing major health ramifications for people and families.
I
So
have
could you
like
talk about that a
so
little
many
bit?
things to say on this front, but before I say them, I want to say you brought up Boeing, and I'm so glad you interviewed the lawyer. But take Boeing as a great example. Aaron Neely Cox was a U.S. attorney in a district in Texas and signed the non-prosecution agreement with Boeing. She then left her office and went to the law firm that represents Boeing. Right? Like that's just not okay, right? We're talking
No.
about so many deaths, and it's just like heartbreaking,
Yeah.
heartbreaking. And I think, and then you also like these prosecutors need to understand that they're killing people. The thing I have to say here will probably shock you. I don't think they care. When the government seized all of our bank accounts, and they literally took all of our money. We had, when the FBI showed up at our house on April 2nd, we opened new bank accounts to put our monthly earnings in because our lawyers told us to, but we left the other bank accounts intact, and they seized all of our money 6 weeks later. So we had the money we'd made for 6 weeks to take care of our four children, pay our mortgage. We lasted it. We had to sell our house within 4 months, right, to survive. Anyway, the prosecutors, when they took our money, our lawyers called them and said, like, can you give the Nelsons back any money to feed their kids? Our children were under the age of 6, four of them. And this one prosecutor, Samantha Bateman, who was a mother, and I just couldn't get over that. She told our lawyers if Mr. Nelson will plead guilty to Amazon's allegations, then we'll give them some money to feed their kids. And my 7-year-old mom was like, they don't care if your children starve? And I was like, no, they don't, Mom. They want them to. Because then they can get their guy for Jeff Bezos. Yeah. And so I don't think they care is my response to you. And I think that is a deep, deep problem because I hate going back to like, if you look at our founding fathers, but like, if you go back to America and its creation, like every man that signed the Declaration of Independence was accused of treason in Great Britain. They were accused criminals. And 4 of the 10 Bill of Rights have to do with the rights of an accused criminal. Because it mattered so much to the people that founded this country that people accused of crimes had due process and representation, and they were innocent until proven guilty. And these prosecutors are like, I will starve you out. I will terrify you. I will bring guns into your home to get you to plead. And the result of that is that 98% of Americans accused of a federal crime plead because they cannot survive the process. And so, the result of legal trauma, to your original question, is harrowing. And I think part of it is when something terrible happens, usually, it is an event. It is a discrete event and it happens and then it's over. When someone you love dies, when there's a horrible accident, when there's a natural disaster. With legal trauma, it doesn't end. It just goes on for years and years and years. And you like I don't breathe like I used to breathe. I have to remind myself to breathe because my cortisol was just pumping for years, just pumping out of me. My hair fell out, and it just lasts and goes on and on. And I think one way to describe it is you feel like you're prey. I felt like we were being hunted because we were being hunted, right? By an army of lawyers. There were like 60 lawyers and FBI agents trying to get my husband and some other guys. And it's like, and again, this is over alleged violations of employment duties. Amazon didn't say he stole money. Nobody was physically hurt. It's just bananas. And it's very, very real. And even now, like Amazon lost their civil case against my husband and it's on appeal. Amazon lost the civil case in April of 2023. It's 2025. It's on appeal. Some random day, it could be tomorrow, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be in a year. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to hand a decision down. And that could throw my life upside down again. And I have to live with that every day. And it's not the DOJ, but like it could financially decimate us again. You know, you're just like, it's horrifying. And I feel, you know, and like, listen, my husband was never even charged. I don't know how people deal with it when there's a trial. I don't know how,
Right.
you know, I don't know how people deal with it who are in prison for crimes they didn't commit.
Right.
It's horrifying, and it has to be there has to be a better way. Like the FBI can keep you under investigation for 4 years, and they're like, whatever, and they go home and they go on vacation and they sleep at night, and you can't build, you can't dream, you can't hope, you can't plan. You're stuck.
You're just constantly in survival mode, and then you can't sleep. I'm sure like you've had many sleepless nights.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just, you know, it. And listen, I wasn't the one being threatened with prison. My husband
Yeah.
was. I don't. I'll
But
never
it's
know.
still your family. It's your
Yeah.
husband, the father of your children, and yeah, I always think about that the phrase of like the lawyer who sleeps at night or the person who just is able to compartmentalize this as a job or a means to an end for some career trajectory that they had planned for themselves. And but then at the same time, they go to galas and events that are human rights fundraisers, and they're committed to these abstract. You know, I'm sure Bezos himself has been to fundraisers to, you know, feed starving kids. But it's
Oh
like,
my. Oh. Well, I mean, Amazon's general counsel, David Zapolsky, who I know personally, right? I've met this man a number of times. He knows I have kids. Like,
yeah,
Seattle's very small. Um, you know, he does all of this pro bono legal work for people, you know, for immigrants, for, you know, all this good stuff. And I'm like, and yet, like, he refuses to speak to us. He won't. Um, Yet you will use the Department of Justice to try to put people in prison to prove a point. To they did something you don't like, or, you know, and it's just like it's the one word I can say is it's just cowardly. It's
yeah,
absolutely cowardly, and history will not look kindly upon these like robber barons and their bootlickers, essentially. You know, it's like it's
totally.
gross.
Do you think that Jeff Bezos himself has seen your videos and your advocacy, and or do you think someone has told him, you know, Amy's been making noise?
You know what's so interesting is
Yeah,
that I have become like an oracle of people who have had tangles with Jeff Bezos. Like
yeah.
lots of people reach out to me who know him personally, and what they would say to me is he definitely knows, and he definitely doesn't like it, and also that like he's kind of relentless and ruthless and will never be wrong. And so I am wrong, you know. And it's interesting to me because if I were Jeff Bezos, I would, as somebody like Jeff Bezos who says like, you know, if something isn't working, try something else. Like Gibson Dunn has lost, they lost your civil forfeiture you wanted, they lost the criminal prosecution you wanted, they lost the civil case you wanted. Like they've lost everything, and yet you still hire them. I would be asking my lawyers, what did you do wrong? How did you put me in jeopardy? How did you put my company in peril? Hold on one second. Carl, I'm on a Zoom, but are you? You can't take the car because I have to get the kids at 2:30. Okay.
It's okay.
All right, love you. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, we can't edit it. Sorry.
I thought you were doing it.
No, I thought I was doing a TikTok. But like, yeah, if I were, you know, and I know you can edit that part, but like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I don't understand why Jeff Bezos isn't asking why people put him in danger and his reputation and his company. I would be asking that if I were him.
Because I do think he care, and maybe you have a different opinion on this, but when I compare Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, I think he cares a bit more about his reputation than Elon Musk in like the quote unquote like civilized world. Like Elon Musk is like, I'm gonna tweet about 69ing and like and create a Doge agency that's based on the Doge cryptocurrency that I pumped because everything's a joke and nothing is real and I'm the master of this video simulation game. And I think Bezos is they're definitely similar in a lot of ways, but I think he does want to be respected by certain circles, and I think he does want he's the owner of the Washington Post, and he I think probably has some competition going on with his ex-wife who's, you know, beating him tremendously in philanthropy, you know? So I think he does care a little bit about that reputation, I think, compared to like a Musk.
I I think that's right. I think they have kind of different psychologies, but I also think that I think Jeff Bezos has so much money and people so much want to be in his orbit to make money from him that nobody will tell him the truth about a damn thing. And I
Yeah.
think that's an incredibly dangerous place to be for Jeff Bezos. I mean, you know, it's just because no one will say to you, like, this is wrong or you shouldn't be doing this because they don't want to upset him.
Right.
And I've
You also
seen,
have to wonder how people like him, their brains must fundamentally change when everybody is sycophantic and yes, menning them left and right. You know, what does that do to your brain he must genuinely believe that he is always right.
I
Like
think he,
genuinely like believe that he is one of the smartest, rulers
yeah.
and the whole divine right of kings thing applies to him.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that when you get to that position, I think you're a lot worse at business and innovation than you were when you weren't in that position. I mean,
That's so true.
Jeff Bezos hasn't really ever invented anything, which is interesting. Whereas, like, you look at Musk, who is an inventor, Bezos built a business. He's a Wall Street guy who built a business. And, like,
Yeah.
listen, Amazon's a good business in some ways. Like, AWS is a great business, largely because of government clients. But, you know, he, a smart guy, built a great business, but I don't think he could run that business effectively now because nobody would tell him the truth.
So
And
true.
again, like I just think it's a really dangerous and sad place to be, but it's one that Jeff Bezos chooses to be in.
Yeah.
Because like there's got to be some part in your brain, even if you've changed, that understands there's no way everybody truly believes I'm right all the time. You know, like it's not real. I mean,
Yeah.
I have heard alleged recordings of this man made from people. Like people send me the craziest stuff. I have heard from all different sides of like the dick pic scandal. Like, I mean,
Interesting.
and like I do not. I'm like and I like don't publicly talk about it or the details I know because I'm like I am not getting involved in this. Like, but it's kind of horrifying because like the only thing I can say is like and it blows my mind about the media. You know, it's like Jeff Bezos claimed that like a Saudi prince hacked into his WhatsApp, and the media repeats it as if it's fact. If you go back and look at everything, Jeff Bezos just said that. He just said that, right? Like,
Right, right. Yeah, where was the evidence of that?
well, I
Like,
can tell you they went to the FBI and the FBI never charged anyone. And the FBI has charged dozens and dozens of people for criminal referrals by Jeff and Amazon. So, and they also often charge people abroad with crimes that they'll never, get to try. But there was never any evidence it happened. So the
wild.
power of Jeff Bezos' power with the media and with journalists is that people just repeat it as if it happened.
Right, right. What would you say, speaking of Amazon and the business, there's so many people trying to reduce their dependency on Amazon and either go completely stop using Amazon. I had a funny conversation with my dad the other day who was like, I didn't imagine I would ever say this, but I'm going to start using Walmart. Like, it was like, I just can't use Amazon anymore. So what would you say to people who are trying to reduce their dependency and actually want to stop using Amazon?
Yeah, I would say that that's a great idea to stop
Yeah.
using Amazon. I think when you stop using Amazon, you realize how much money you're wasting on things that you don't need. And so when you stop using it, you kind of go back to like rational buying. And I use Walmart when I am in a pinch, and I think Walmart's a great company. Obviously, they all have their own issues, but Walmart is a great company and treats its employees better than Amazon does. That's for sure. But also, like, I try to buy local because our
Yeah.
communities are where everything begins and ends. And I think, one of the things that we've really lost as a country is face-to-face interactions with people in our community, being involved in our community and what's happening. And